What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Everything Mets. I hope everyone's having a great day. The Mets got the 2-0 win for their first spring training win of 2021 over the Astros today. We're just going to do a little review of the game and just get into that and just go over some stuff just like yesterday. And so just jumping straight into the review, it was nice to see the Mets actually get a win today, even though, like I always say, it's just spring training. It was nice to see them just get the first win of the spring. Marcus Stroman started the game on the mound for the Mets, and the starting lineup looked like this for the Mets. Nimmo led off, and he was playing DH today. Lindor was over at short, batting second. Conforto was in right, batting third. Alonso batted fourth, playing first. McNeil was over at second for his first game of the spring. He had a good day. We'll get into that. He batted fifth. McCann behind the plate. He made his spring debut for the Mets behind the plate, batting sixth. Luis Guillorme batted seventh, playing over at third. Almora Jr., he was in over at center, and Khalil Lee was in at left for the Mets. Getting into the actual game review, the actual starting pitcher today was actually supposed to be Jordan Yamamoto, but he actually ended up going after Stroman, and Stroman actually wanted to start the game and get some ABs against another opponent, as he was supposed to throw a live BP today. To get into the game, though, Stroman got Miles Straw to fly out to start the game. He flew out to right field to Conforto. He then got Diaz to ground out right back to him, and then he got Michael Brantley to ground out to Lindor over at short to get 1-2-3 to start off the game for the Mets. In the bottom of the first, Nimmo grounded out to the pitcher to start off the game for the Mets, and then Lindor grounded out right back to the pitcher as well, and that made it 2 quick outs for the Mets. And then Michael Conforto came up for his first at-bat of the spring, and he grounded out to shortstop. Jason Castro led off for the Astros in the top of the second, and he struck out looking on a running fastball. And then Taylor Jones then came up for the Astros, and he grounded out to first base to Alonso. And then after a long AB, Stroman got Brian De La Cruz on strikes, and he ended his game after 2 innings and 2 strikeouts. He allowed no hits, and on 30 pitches, 22 of them were strikes, so Stroman had a good day today in his first spring start. Moving on to the bottom of the second, Alonso grounded out to shortstop to start off for the Mets, and then Jeff McNeil went deep to left field to put the Mets up 1-0 in his first at-bat of the spring. James McCann then came up for his first at-bat in a Mets uniform in the spring, and he struck out swinging his first at-bat. Guillorme came up and he went down looking at a strike, and honestly, the strike 3 call on him, the ball looked a little outside, but it doesn't matter. The umps, it's spring for everyone. Moving on to the top of the third, and there's a pitching change for the Mets, and as Jordan Yamamoto, came in for Stroman, as I said before. In the top of the third, to start off, Jeremy Pena lined out the third on a nice grab on a rocket to Guillorme, and he made a nice grab on that one. And then Nova singled to shortstop. Lindor just had a little trouble on the transition out of the glove, but it would have been a close play anyways. He would have beat out the throw anyways over at first, so it's alright. Then Garrett Stubbs struck out swinging, and McCann threw out Nova trying to steal second for the strike him out, throw him out double play to end the inning for the Mets in the top of the third. In the bottom of the third, Albert Almora flew out to center field, and Khalil Lee struck out looking. He struggled, honestly, in my opinion, today, but he's young, so that's alright for the young prospect. Nimmo then came up and ripped one to right field for a double. And then Lindor then came up and drew a walk, and he was replaced by Jose Peraza as a runner on first. And there was runners on first and second for Conforto as he flew out to left and left 2 runners on base. Moving on to the top of the fourth, Miles Straw led off again for the Astros, and he singled on a soft fly ball that dropped in shallow right field. And then he stole second on a no-throw from McCann. Diaz then grounded out to shortstop, and Straw moved over to third base. Brantley then hit a liner right to McNeil at second base, and Castro then came up for the Astros, and he grounded out to second. They got out of the inning for Yamamoto. Houston left Miles Straw on third base, and that Straw, he's got some speed, just saying. Just coming from a Mets fan, just an observation on the Astros player there. But Yamamoto, he finished with 2 innings pitched just like Stroman, finished with 1 strikeout, 2 hits, and on 25 pitches he threw 16 strikes, so pretty efficient day for him, and a good appearance for the first time in a Mets uniform for him. Moving on to the bottom of the fourth, Alonso struck out reaching at a pitch that was way high out of the zone, and he was honestly just late getting the bat around, so he wasn't even going to get to the pitch anyways. Jeff McNeil then came up and he grounded out right into the shift, and then McCann grounded out to first base, making it a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Mets. Moving on to the top of the fifth, a New York Mets pitching change as Jeremy Blevins came back in. He made his return for the Mets from a few years ago, and for Jordan Yamamoto. Taylor Jones drew a leadoff walk to start off the inning for the Astros, and then Brian De La Cruz singled on a line drive off of Blevins as it hit his thigh / glove hand. I couldn't really tell, honestly. And it was runners on first and second for the Astros. Jeremy Pena then came up and he struck out swinging off of a Blevins. Nice pitch by Blevins. And then Nova popped out to first base, and Garrett Stubbs also grounded out to first base to get through the inning for Blevins. Then there were some Mets subs as Vargas came into right field for Conforto. Vientos came in for Alonso over at first. A Hager came in for McNeil at second. Nick Meyer came in for James McCann at catcher. And then to start off the bottom of the fifth, Luis Guillorme flew out to left field. Albert Almora fouled him and homered on a line drive to left center field to make a great impression today, honestly, in my opinion. And he didn't have a home run all last year with the Cubs, I checked. Khalil Lee grounded out to third base, and then pinch hitting for Nimmo, Ronnie Mauricio came in and he grounded out to first base, the young Mets prospect, and he remained in the game as DH. Some more Mets subs happened before the top of the sixth inning as Brett Beatty came in at third for Guillorme. Pete Crow Armstrong made his first pro appearance in center field, and then Drew Peterson came in for Khalil Lee in left field. And then a Mets pitching change as Drew Smith came in for Jerry Blevins. He finished with 1 inning pitch today on the day, 1 strikeout, 1 hit given up, 1 walk giving up, and on 23 pitches he threw 16 strikes. So not a bad day for Blevins either. And all around it was a good day for the pitching staff today. But in the top of the sixth, Drew Smith, he got Jose Siri to fly out to right field. And then he got C.J. Hinojosa to ground out to shortstop. And then got Chas McCormick to fly out to right field as it was a quick 12-pitch inning for Drew Smith. And he finished with an inning pitched, no hits given up, and just 12 pitches, 9 strikes, like I said. So great inning for him. Moving on to the bottom of the sixth for the Mets, Jose Peraza started out, and he got a double and down the right field line in his first at-bat. Vargas then reached base on a throwing error by the shortstop. Vientos then fouled him up and singled on a weird play in which the Astros third baseman, I think, thought it was going to go foul, but it wasn't even close to going foul, and it was just a weird play all around, to be honest. Jake Hager then fouled him up, and he lined out the shortstop. Nick Meyer grounded into a double play to shortstop and ended the inning and left 3 Mets on base. And so a lot of ducks left on the pond today for the Mets, but it's early in the spring, so it's all right. Then the last New York pitching change, moving into the top of the seventh, Sam McWilliams, new signing, came in for Drew Smith. Starting the top of the seventh, Lorenzo Quintana singled to the center field to lead off for the Astros, and then Steven Souza drew a walk. Runners at first and second, and then Ronnie Dawson flew out to deep left field on the warning track, and runners stayed where they were on that play. Kessinger then struck out swinging for the Astros, and then Alex DeGotti struck out swinging as well to end the inning, and that got the win for the Mets, but they did play a bottom of the seventh just to get some extra at-bats and extra pitching for the Astros. Sam McWilliams, though, did finish with an inning pitch, 2 strikeouts and 1 hit given up and 1 walk, and 23 pitches and 11 strikes thrown. But moving on to the bottom of the seventh, didn't really matter, but we'll get into it quick. Brett Beatty struck out on a fouled tip. Pete Crow Armstrong, in his first pro at-bat, got called out on strikes, and Drew Ferguson drew a walk, and then Ronnie Mauricio came up and he struck out looking to end the game. But the Mets did get the win 2-0 today. And just getting in quick to my player of the game and everything, Jeff McNeil would stick out to me, and honestly, Albert Almora Jr. as well. Those would probably be my co-player of the games. They both got a home run today and got the 2 runs for the Mets. And Stroman had a good showing today. It was just a good look for him and Yamamoto. Everyone all around for the Mets, they look good today. It was nice to get a win, get that first win of the spring. Even though it doesn't mean anything, it's still nice. And that's it for your Mets Game 2 of the spring training review. If you enjoyed, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more Mets content. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Josh out.